Next, let me invite Srimati Sri Lakshmi Garu, IAS Special Chief Secretary of Government, MA and UD Department, Government of Andhra Pradesh. Now, I would like to invite G. Jayalakshmi Garu, IAS Principal Secretary to Government, ITE and C Department, Government of Andhra Pradesh. Now I request all the dignitaries, please join in lamp lighting. సో జ్యోతి ప్రజ్వలన కార్యక్రమాన్ని మొదలు పెట్టవలసిందిగా కోరుకుంటూ స్టేజ్ పైన ఉన్న డిగ్నిటీస్ ని అండ్ ఒక డివోషనల్ ఇన్స్ట్రుమెంటల్ మ్యూజిక్ ప్లే చేయవలసిందిగా రిక్వెస్ట్ చేస్తున్నాను ప్లీజ్. అండ్ ఆల్సో ఫస్ట్ ల్యాంప్ లైట్ చేసినప్పుడు గట్టిగా అందరూ క్లాప్స్ కొట్టవలసిందిగా రిక్వెస్ట్. So much. Now I request we'll start this beautiful day with Vande Mataram. I request all of you please please stand. Thank you so Oh, okay. I'm going. Self-introduction.
Yeah, very good morning. My name is Dilip Kumar. I am the CEO for AP and Telangana State for Indus Towers. We provide infrastructure for all the telecom operators. We have more than 3,000 employees, but in AP state, direct employment is around 200 people. Indirectly, we employ close to 10,000 people, sir.
Morning, this is Shankar Iyer. I look after the southern region for the Indus Towers as a company. I have got my beloved partner who is here, Mr. Konda Reddy. He looks after about 13,000 towers across the country. We have about 1,70,000 towers. We give infrastructure for all the operating companies as well as for government services. We would really want to invest more and then do the connectivity more in the state.
My name is Sachin Tumala. I'm Managing Director of Corpus Group. We have investments in AP. We do manufacturing in Tirupati, and we're building an IT tower in Vizag. And we also contribute towards the growth of the AP fiber network. Thank you.
Anil Yamani, Managing Director of OSI Digital. We are an IT services company with about 1,000 plus employees. Dr. C.S. Rao from Quadgen Wireless, I am the chairman, and we provide telecommunication software development services. We develop the products in the area of 5G and 4G, and we have 600 plus employees, all engineers, and we have 100 of them in Visakhapatnam doing the 5G software development. Thank you.
I'm Murthy Viraganta, Chairman and CEO of Vsoft Technologies. We have office in Mangalgiri here in Andhra, employing about 200 people. We have about 600 people in Hyderabad and another 200 in the United States. We are a banking applications product company.
Hi, good morning everyone. My name is Raja Reddy. I am the Group CEO of SRIT Group of Companies and heading across almost 8 to 9 countries. And we are one of the #1 banking and financial sector IT services partners across, GCC countries. We won #1 testing and quality assurance award last year in the entire Middle East. And now, with the warm welcome from Gautam Reddy sir, we are investing in Tirupati and making one of the best, IT infrastructures in Tirupati. And I believe this is going to be one of the best, IT hubs in Tirupati, which will become a kind of icebreaker to everyone to follow us further. Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting us.
Good morning. My name is Ankit Shah. I am the co-founder and CEO of HRH Next Services. We are one of the largest domestic contact center players in the country. We employ over 2,500 people, primarily out of all the southern states, and looking to make a mark in Andhra as well now.
Mr. Raju, President of IT Association of Andhra Pradesh. We have, ours is the primary association, IT association in the entire state of Andhra Pradesh, with the 175 plus members, including all the big brands like HSBC, WNS, Condiant and all. And I also run a software company which is into cloud-based products. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is R.L. Narayana and I'm representing WNS Global Services. And we have a strength of 2,500 in Andhra Pradesh out of 46,000 people across the world. And even during the pandemic, we actually hired about 1,000 plus people and doubled our headcount in the state of Andhra Pradesh.
Good morning, one and all. My name is Venkatesh. I am a board member, director and chief operating officer for Fluent Grid Limited. We are a product company, basically providing solutions to the utilities and smart solutions, especially on the command control operations. We have done in Visakhapatnam, we have done in latest in the Bangalore and Cochin and Lucknow. We are about 500 plus on the IT front, about 10,000 plus on the services front from a manpower perspective, based out of Visakhapatnam. Thank you.
Good morning to you all. This is Dr. Srinababu Gedala, CEO of Pulses Group. We do employ about 7,000 employees. Out of 7,000, about 2,500 are from Visakhapatnam. And out of 2,500, we did provided employment in the last 1 year about 1,500. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lakshmi Mukaveli, MD for Patra. We do back office insurance work for US, and we employ about 2,700 in Vizag, and across we are over 3,000, and our goal is to go up to 3,500 next year. which we fell short because of 2020. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Ajay Kaul. I represent Amazon Web Services. So, as you would know, we work with governments on building cloud. And apart from that, we also work on building skills development, startup ecosystem, incubation centers, and most of the forward-looking things. So glad to be here. Thank you.
Morning, I'm Anshu Gaur. I represent founder and CEO of Pravega Systems. We invest in grow and scale early stage companies and also provide thought leadership around work from anywhere and the future of work.
Morning all, I am Hari Chandrasekharan representing UST Global. I take care of the global government business. Thank you.
Hey, good morning. This is Mohan Rao Kohli. I come from Samsung India. I'm the Chief Technology Officer in Samsung R&D Institute. So we are having multiple programs to enlighten the engineering students, especially skill development and also the investment project like for the startup ecosystems.
Good morning all. Thank you so much to the Honorable Minister, Mr. Reddy, for inviting me. I come from Pune, where I've been for the last 30 years in an entrepreneurial journey. My current company that I founded recently is called Ideas to Impacts, and it provides cutting-edge technology services to global clients, but from the smaller towns of Maharashtra. We call it the Smart Town model. It has been going on very successfully for the last 5 years. Our tagline is distributing the future evenly. That's what we are trying to do by creating opportunities for the small town folks instead of they having to come to the metros. We think this is a logical next step of Indian offshoring. Very recently, we have started office in Andhra Pradesh, and thanks to the knowledge that we got about the policies that your government is having, and looking forward to doing the same in Andhra Pradesh now. Thank you.
Good morning. Go ahead. My name is Ramakrishna. I run a company, Eftronics. We started this company 35 years back. We do more of IoT for Indian Railways. Entire Indian Railway signaling is monitored by us. Now the same thing with technologies transfer, use it to the smart cities and smart buildings.
Good morning. My name is Chandrasekhar. I'm CEO of Ideal Business Solutions. We build e-commerce and card solutions to the small business vendors. Thank you.
My name is Pani Kondepudi. I run a company called 3x3 Connect. We are one of the largest training partners for Microsoft. I'm a global training partner. As well as we provide a lot of consulting services for Microsoft in the school ecosystem. We have a very innovative platform where we provide internships for school kids across India for free. So we impact a few million children across India.
Morning all. My name is Dr. Ramana. I am the founder and CEO of Aware Energy. We are the first EV, electric two-wheeler manufacturer from the state of Andhra Pradesh. And thanks to the government of AP for the support all these years. And we started the company with the vision of empowering women. Right now, of course, like we are running fall short of 45% of women in our organization. Hope so by 2023 we can reach our target of 70% where it will be run by women powered. Yeah, thank you so much.
Good morning all. This is Satyendra Pasalapodi, the Managing Director for the Infolob India. Infolob is a US organization with 60 million across the IT services. We started last year in Hyderabad, now grown up to 100 people in Hyderabad, and wanted to start in Vizag and grow into the edge data center and the cloud services. But one thing we felt that is we wanted to adopt few colleges in and around Andhra and start helping them as well as grooming the talent right from the first year and recruit as an interns and get to our that's our goal. My CEO's goal is to have 5,000 plus expansion in the next 5 years. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Shiv Prasad. I'm a Global Operations Director with HCL Technologies. And I'm actually proud to say that we are largest IT employer in Andhra Pradesh. We currently already have about 2,000 plus people, including our HCL State Street joint venture. We are about 3,000 people. We'll be growing to close to 7,000 plus people in the next 2 years. The current year itself will be about 4,000. And one of the points that I forgot his name, he just mentioned that he is looking forward to have about 45% women employees. I am actually proud to say that HCL Vijayawada, we already have 41% women employees working in here. So thank you, everyone.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I am Balaji, the Center Head of State Street HCL Services. We are the oldest bank in US State Street. We are into investment banking. We have joint ventured with HCL, and we are operating in Vijayawada for the last 3 years. I am proud to say that we handle $1 trillion transaction every day from Vijayawada. Thank you.
Good morning, and good to be here in my hometown. Thank you so much, sir, for inviting us. I am the co-founder for a sociopreneur enterprise called S-Mentor. Basically, this enterprise tries to connect industry experts to college students and youth, trying to channelize them on future skills, emphasizing the fact that education alone will not make them future ready. So based on that, recently authored a book also. So that's why I got invited for this. So looking forward to part of talking with Mr. Chandra Garu on this and upskilling. Thank you.
Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Shashi Sudhanshu. I am co-founder of CEO of a startup called Elder. Elder is a technology platform through which we are providing a lot of services in the space of health, wellness and lifestyle for senior citizens. Thank you.
Good morning everybody. This is Dr. Swami Ventiala, partner and CEO of Baker Tilly, which is a global consulting firm and having the technology of offshore operations in Hyderabad and Vijayawada. We thank government of AP for giving us an opportunity to implement our digital transformation platform for agriculture, where all farmers of the state, around 60 lakh plus, will be accessing their own government services and having the connectivity to the market, supplier side visibility and discovery, especially in the terms of COVID and this pandemic, so that they're seamlessly connected to the service providers as well as the traders. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Venkat Vallabhaneni. I'm a managing partner in a fund called Inflexar Ventures. We are a $100 million fund, primarily investing in IP-focused and deep tech companies, actually. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rajesh Mantana. I represent a company called Cancer Centers of America. We set up oncology sites all over India. In my previous company, what we set up, American Oncology, we had 3 centers in and around Vijayawada. We were employing around close to 800 people. I also represented an angel network called Hyderabad Angels. I'm the vice chairman there. Looking forward to the ecosystem being developed here also.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Shyam Penimaka. I am partner with Dallas Venture Capital. We are a VC firm based in Dallas and Hyderabad. We have been investing in startups in the software space, especially in the B2B SaaS space. We have invested in 22 companies so far. Half of them have operations in India. This year, we are looking to invest in companies in India as well. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is Raj Vallabhaneni. I'm the CEO of Kalgudi. We are a products company in agriculture and rural livelihood sectors. We work with about 10 million farmers across India. And in AP, we have an office in Tadepalli with about 100 people and looking forward to grow. Thank you.
Happy morning, everyone. I'm Raviteja Talam, managing operations for Trigen Technologies Limited. We are present across 26 countries. We are mainly into smart cities and education as well as healthcare. Right now, we are handling Ongole Smart City project. We are heading the 4,000 virtual classrooms project of Andhra Pradesh. Thank you.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ravi Shankar. I'm CEO of O2 Skills. We do skilling in IT, logistics, beauty, and all that sectors. We are present in AP, we are present in Telangana, and UP, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, and Kerala presently, and Assam as well. Most of the northeastern states. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, all. Myself,
Ganesh Naidu. I come from Rural Shores. We create employment to rural youth by establishing BPOs in the Tier 4 and 5 cities. Currently, we have 13 centers in 8 states. We follow 4 E's, that is N-Skill, Employ, we engage and empower. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Venkat from Chairman Managing Director of M Technologies. We are an aerospace defense company. We employ about 1,500 people.
Good morning, sir. This is Leela Kaza, CEO of Acolyte. We're a digital engineering services and a cloud services company. About 2,000 employees globally, 1,800 people here in India and 200 people in the US. We focus on banking, financial services, healthcare, and telecommunication sectors. We predominantly work with US Fortune 500 companies. Recently, we have a private equity fund called New Mountain Capital that invested with us.
I think there are a lot more CEOs, but I think they are pretty stage shy, I guess, to speak onto the stage. If it's okay, anybody else wants to get up and discuss about their company, or shall we move on? Right, we'll move on.
Hello.
Thank you so much, all of you. It was a nice icebreak session. Okay, now I request Mr. Jayalakshmi Madam to give us small welcome bouquets and also the shawls to the dignitaries. Shawls and bouquets. Claps, please. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, all of you. Now I request Srimati Jayalakshmi Madam to give a small welcome address about this gathering.
A very good morning to all the honorable VIPs and the delegates of this conclave. First of all, I take this opportunity to welcome our Honorable Minister for Industry, Infrastructure, IT and Skill Development. The whole conclave that is happening today is his ideation of bringing in all of you together for a more like a discussion and idea sharing and the way forward and what kind of expectations that the companies have from the government of AP. So I welcome you, sir, and I also take this opportunity to thank you for the initiative that you had taken very meticulously and keenly in organizing this. I welcome respected Special CS Higher Education, Sri Satish Chandra Garu, and sir is handling higher education and he will be heading the session on skilling, and I am glad that a lot of companies here who are specialized in skilling and delivering skilling modules through an IT platform. I'm welcoming you, sir, and I'm sure your presence here will really guide us in how to go forward in this sector also. I take this opportunity also to extend my warm welcome to Dr. Mrs. Poonam Malkondaya, Special CS of Agriculture, Animal Husbandry and Fisheries. Madam is heading the entire primary sector, and this is one sector where a lot of systematic kind of planning and delivery system is happening through the IT platform. And I thank ma'am for being here today, and I'm sure your participation will also take the primary sector to the next level in terms of developing IT platforms which are sustainable and which will be useful for the farmers. I take this opportunity to invite Madam Mrs. Sri Lakshmi, Special CS of Municipal Administration and Urban Development. Ma'am is heading all the smart city projects and the entire urban infrastructure, and ma'am's presence will be very helpful for those ideas on the IT concept cities and also on bringing in digital library in every ward and the Gram Sabha. We look forward for your contributions on these sessions, madam. Thank you for kindly gracing the occasion also. Just to give a small background on this whole ideation of this round table, I'll just take you through a few slides on the background and what is the concept of this round table and what are the outcomes that we are expecting out of this, just to give you the backdrop. So just to give you a overall outlook of the global IT industry, this is one industry which has an industry market size of around 5 trillion, and then in India, this is an industry which has been generating around 2 lakh jobs, and in spite of the COVID in the last year also, around 1 lakh jobs have been generated across the country. And with reference to AP, we are looking at an employment growth of around 45,000 here, and our growth rate also stands something around 16% in this sector. Likewise, in electronics also, the global electronic market is around almost 2 trillion, and with reference to India, we are growing where most of the electronic industries looking at manufacturing kind of outsourcing to most of the Southeast Asian countries, and India is one of the very important destination on this sector also, which speaks that our CAGR for the earlier period had been around 70%, shows that we have started to tap on that kind of a resource which is available across the globe. And this is just an IT landscape of Andhra Pradesh where we are showing the presence of major companies right from HCL to Dixon and Foxconn, and also in the electronic sector, just to give you a profile of the scenario in our state. Coming to the background of the present poised nature of IT industry, the pandemic and the COVID-19 situation has really come with kind of challenges and opportunities where there have been a paradigm shift in the way the whole IT industry have been functioning and how it's going to turn over. And I think these are some of the models that we have shown how the traditional model versus the post-COVID model is like. So now the remote working model and cutting down on infrastructure and looking at more of working across the globe is becoming much more possible under this kind of a situation. And this is also a cost comparison we are showing. So this is also an additional opportunity and a challenge for the government as well, and also for the industry. And this is a time that equally we can capitalize on this. And I look forward for those companies to invest here and looking that as a strength. The thrust area of our IT sector, the policy that is we are in the process to bring out, akin to and also synchronizing with the post-COVID situation, the thrust area is more on employment enhancement, for which we are also looking at some exclusively an IT skill university of emerging technology and physical infrastructure of incubation centers and plug-and-play space for the companies, and a digital infrastructure which we are looking at, since the Honorable CM's vision is to take the last mile connectivity to every village. The presence of digital library and the presence of a digital knowledge leverage, I think, is going to be a major focus of the government. and startups, the kind of support the startups need in terms of mentorship and in terms of product design. I think there will be COEs who will be constantly supporting them in that kind of area so that to stabilize the startups in our state. Along which the department also will look in its own infrastructure of having a very strong state data center where it can be a repertoire of all the database of all the various government departments. And the focus also is on the emerging technologies and R&D, where we would be encouraging any company which is involved in R&D, the patenting that you do, we would request you to look at Andhra Pradesh as more of a center for R&D and exploring those kind of opportunities here. We are most welcome to that kind of a sector of the industry also. In terms of electronic sector, we want to move from an upstream kind of a value chain, not in just only in assembling, but looking at various other products in manufacturing as well. So that, and also promoting a greenfield EMC cluster. So one such cluster which Government of India has already approved is in the EMC Koparthi, which would be a greenfield cluster. And we look forward for the participation of the various companies. And there are consortium of companies which are already interested to move into Koparthi. And this particular, coming to the round table, the aims and objective that we had thought that we should be able to deliver during this one-day session is to brainstorm with you as leaders and innovators from the different field sectors, so that the government will have those kind of actual practical field insights into the way that we need to function to reach out to the companies better and to attract investment, and looking at your employable kind of opportunities that you have in your own sector, and also use the appropriate use of emerging technology wherein the citizen-centric services can be delivered better based on your expertise in that field. The focus area of this particular roundtable, just to give you this thing, there are 6 major sectors on which we would be dividing ourselves into panel groups. One such group is the concept cities, where it will be like more like a IT concept city of a huge campus, not only employment and the infrastructure of IT, but thinking of every other facility there and providing a broad bandwidth of an internet connectivity. And it's more like a IT city where you can think of every other IT infrastructure. So that would be a group which would be discussing on that area. The other area would be on skilling not only in related to IT, but also in the field of higher education, and also strengthening our higher education process as well. And IT and emerging technologies with reference to primary sector, will look at the primary sector of agriculture, animal husbandry, and the related fields of fisheries and other sectors. Startups had been one of the very important buzzword now, and it is really picking up across the country also. So we would like to have one discussion on this and see and understand what are the things that we need to do in order to bring the right kind of startup ecosystem in the state. Work from anywhere is another group which would be deliberating upon, which is a new concept, and there are only very few states which have looked at this as an opportunity, and we are proud to say that Government of Andhra Pradesh is the only state which is looking at this as an angle, as an opportunity to be incorporated as part of our policy as well. And the electronic sector, where we really have the growth that which is likely to emerge, we would also like to see what are the opportunities emerging there and the challenges in the electronic industry, as well as a separate group discussion. The outcomes that we have actually looked at is, one is to look at and create an impact on the delivery system, how it can really, that area of focus would be an outcome, and strengthening the policy framework that the Government of Andhra Pradesh is having, and also looking at the futuristic cybersecurity issues when people are going to work from anywhere. And also to learn from you the best practices that the companies are following, so that it can be a good insight for the government as well and for the department as well. And looking at enhancing the inclusive growth, where some of you are also looking at the distributing, as one of them had mentioned, distributing the future equally. So I think these are some of the outcomes that we are expecting out of this whole session for today. And I'm sure that everyone's participation will really contribute to this roundtable session as a very meaningful session. And this is a beginning, and anything that is well begun is half done, and I think on this Good Friday, things will emerge as the best opportunity for the department. And I would like to say that Alvin Toffler has said, illiterate is not the one who cannot read and write, but in this emerging kind of a technological background, illiterate are those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. And I'm proud to say that the IT industry is repeatedly doing this of learning, unlearning, and relearning the technologies that you are coming in. So I'm sure that your participation will add on very, very good value to the department. And once again, I welcome all of you, and thank you also for having come here and willing to participate in this and contribute your ideas to this. Thank you.
Super. Thank you so much, madam. So now I would like to invite Mr. Satish Chandra Garu, IAS Special Chief Secretary of Government Department of Higher Education, to give a small key address note.
The chief guest of today's function, our Honorable Minister for Industry, IT, Skill Development and Training, the Principal Secretary, IT, Mrs. Jayalakshmi, Special CS, Agriculture, Horticulture, Dairy, Veterinary, everything is Srimati Poonam Malkondaya. Then the Special Chief Secretary, Sri Lakshmi, looking after Municipal Administration and Urban Development. All the CXOs who are participating in today's conference, good morning to all of you. I am very happy to be here this morning to be with you. In fact, it's a great initiative done by our Honorable Minister, Sri Gautam Reddy Garu. He has taken keen interest to see that such a conclave conference takes place in Andhra Pradesh, and he has meticulously planned this activity, and this is only the beginning. Many more such events will follow. The whole idea behind the scheme is that Andhra should become a destination for investment hub. All the best companies of the world should come and invest in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Why we are saying so? Because the state is poised for that. You have infrastructure, you have trained manpower in the state. Like we are going to discuss on skill development today in this conference. The skill development should not be taken as something after the education. In fact, skill development should become part and parcel of the education system. When we have students in higher education, then skilling should go along with that formal education. I want to tell you that the skill development concept was thought of by Government of Andhra Pradesh long ago, when Dr. Y.S. Rajshekar Reddy Garu, he was the Chief Minister. In 2007, he started a skill development initiative, and we established a society called Rajiv Udyogashri. The whole concept was that identify the skill gaps in the various sectors of economy, identify the students, and then train them to bridge the skill gap and make them employable. Why I am saying so? That I was the first CEO of the Rajiv Udyogashri in 2007. That initiative was started by him. Now, the present Chief Minister has gone further. He is saying that let's have a skill university, and attached to that skill university we should have 30 skilling centers in the state. The job of these skill university and skilling centers should be to identify the gaps and train them to suit them for getting employment, not only employment, employment with higher salaries, not just employment. In the sector of higher education, now you know a new education policy has come. It provides a lot of flexibility in the curricula. We can have, now we are starting from this year, 4-year degree course in the conventional BA, BCom, BSc also, with a choice to the students to exit after 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, or continue for all 4 years. So 1 year study also will not go waste. He will get some certificate, 2-year diploma, 3-year degree, 4th year a honors degree or degree with research, which enables him to do post-graduation only in 1 year. We have choice-based credit system where we allowed flexibility to the students to choose courses online. Skilling courses online can be taken and will provide credit as part of the degree requirement. Now Microsoft has come forward, and then we had series of meetings with them. They have identified number of courses and in emerging technologies, in high-end areas, and they are willing to train 1,60,000 students annually at a very nominal cost. So we are very soon going to have a MOU and agreement with them so that they can take up the skilling of our students. Students who are pursuing the normal degrees or students who are pursuing the engineering and technical degrees, the courses are meant for all of them. They can choose the different courses to suit their requirement. So that's going to be a big initiative in the state of Andhra towards, the skilling the students while pursuing the normal degree courses. This is one thing. Secondly, the CM has taken a decision that the higher education should be, embedded with the skilling. It should not be just like that, where the students come out and they are of no use. They don't have any knowledge. So we are now starting a 10 months internship, which is mandatory. That is, after first year 2 months, after second year in summer vacation 2 months, and in third year or fourth year, 1 full semester of 6 months is for internship. So the students will be sent to all of you. In fact, this is a great opportunity for the industry and for the trade that you can choose students from our pool. You can take students, the number you require, the type of people you require, you can select. So it's a big task. In higher education sector, we have nearly 12 lakh students in AP. These 12 lakh students need to be given internship. So huge task and huge opportunity for everybody, and to improve the education in the state of Andhra Pradesh. So we need the cooperation and partnership with the industry. One gentleman was telling that he wants to adopt colleges. We'll be very happy. In fact, each industry can adopt a college. You can identify the students and take them as interns and then train them, and then finally you employ them. That is what you can do. So the colleges, in fact, we are willing to partner with you. You please tell us what type of skilling is required, We will introduce those courses in those colleges. You can identify the students, will train them while they are doing the normal courses. In AP, we have one initiative called Triple IT, that is RGUKT, Rajiv Gandhi University of Knowledge Technology. This initiative was also started by Honorable Rajshekar Reddy Garu in 2008. Now, normally in engineering admissions, we know that after +2, the admissions take place. But in this initiative, we are admitting the students after class 10, and we give weightage to rural students, we give weightage to students who are in government schools. Now, after 10th, on merit basis, students are admitted in these triple ITs, and we have 4 centers in Andhra, and totally 27,000 students we are having. They are brilliant students, they are from rural background, they have basic intelligence, they can be shaped well, and you can partner with us, you can take them. They are basically cream of intellectual capability. So these are the things which we have in AP. We are willing to partner with you to do the skilling and do everything possible so that our state develops and our people get employment opportunities, and their life living standards become better with better income. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now I invite Srimati Ponam Malkandaya Garu to give a key address.
A very good morning to Honorable Minister Garu, Honorable Minister of IT, ENC, Triple INC, SDNT, Shri Mekapati Gautam Reddy Garu. At the outset, I would like to congratulate him for organizing this wonderful conference and also for expanding the horizon of this conference to primary sector. I think this is the first time that in IT we are talking of primary sector. Thank you very much, sir, for that. And I would like to inform you, all of you here, that primary sector, there's some wonderful work going on in primary sector in the area of information technology in different parts of the globe. As far as our state is concerned, I am very proud to say that under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister, Shri Jagan Mohan Reddy ji, we are one of the first states in the country where in every village we have established the Raitu Bharosa Kendras, which an integrated center for providing knowledge on crop planning, crop technologies, as well as a host of services to the farmers in the areas of agriculture, horticulture, animal husbandry, dairy development, fisheries, sericulture, food processing, and aqua and fisheries, as well as in crop procurements and in marketing of the crops. Now these Raitu Bharosa Kendras have digitized kiosks, they have smart TV, they are internet connectivity, and we are already implementing certain IT related services here. The first one being, the state has around 70 lakh farmers who cultivate around 1 crore 25 lakh acres. We have in the state around 30 lakh farmers who cultivate vegetables and fruits in around 20 lakh hectares. That's around 45 lakh acres. We have in the state around 15 lakh fishermen who are doing aqua in around, again, 30 lakh acres. We have in the state around 45 lakh farmers who rear around 1 crore 20 lakh animals. And I'm extremely proud to say that we have a database of all of this. We have the e-crop working in all these 10,750 kiosks in the villages, where on a dynamic basis, both in Rabi and in Kharif, the entire data is captured and it's Aadhaar seeded. I'm proud to tell you also that all the animals in the state, we are the first in the country to do that, all the animals in the state are also having INAF tagging. And some of you who are working in primary sector would know what that is. Thereby, by doing this, we are tracking the crops, we are doing the disease surveillance and giving advisories to farmers on disease management with less use of fertilizers and pesticides. And by organizing on the basis of this data, around 20,000 farmer field schools every season, this state is slowly moving towards organic farming. We are also giving a host of advisories to the farmers on selling their crops in the best markets. And in the e-market platform, we have now moved from the taluk level, where the country is right now, to the village level. Now, the IT systems that are placed at the village level, therefore, are not only doing these advisories on crop planning, crop management, and also on disease surveillance and marketing of the crops, but the next big pillar that we are dealing is the skilling of the farmers, the skilling of the animal husbandry farmers, the skilling of the crop farmers. And in this skilling, that's why I told you that there is a smart TV in each of these. And we have a host of scientists, not only of the state, but across the country, who are giving talks to the farmers. And we have an exclusive RBK channel, and a whole lot of information is being shared on an interactive platform. So we run the call center for the farmers separately for the dairy farmers and for the fisheries and for the agriculture, horticulture, etc. This is very exciting and is very, very useful, because I'm very happy to tell you that post-COVID, there are a lot of young people, even in IT sector, who have come back to the villages and are showing a lot of interest in this area of farming. And they are weaving together their knowledge of IT into this farming. The drone technologies have now moved in crop protection. And while we are still formulating the laws as to how we do this, there are farmers in the state, there are farmers in the state who have already started using, the usage of pesticides using drones. And that is not only giving, lesser cost of cultivation, but is also effective utilization in lesser quantities. Similarly, when we talk of services, the whole area of crop insurance to the farmers, or the whole area of disaster management, because this state is cyclone prone, and the whole area again of skilling of young farmers. We have another big pillar of only women farmers, because when you talk of dairy sector or when you talk of the sector related to post-harvest management, it's mainly women who are involved in the villages. Therefore, I have, without taking much time, because we have a separate session for this, and I thank Honorable Minister, sir, for giving us that platform. I just wanted to keep this canvas before you. And I would request you, because in IT, obviously you know better than we know. So we just gave you this broad platform. We gave you the intention of the government, to invest any innovative technologies in these areas. And I request you all that if you have anything exciting for the farmers, if you can bring some technologies that can reduce their cost of cultivation and can double their incomes, if you have any technologies that can reduce the application of chemicals in agriculture, and if you have any technologies that can help us connect to markets across the globe, you're most welcome. And the Department of Agriculture, Animal Husbandry and Food Processing that I deal with will welcome you and will work with you. Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, madam. Now I would like to invite to give a keynote address Srimati Sri Lakshmi madam, IAS Special Chief Secretary to Government, MA and UD Department, Government of Andhra Pradesh.
I guess it's too fun. Thank you.
So, let me start off with congratulating our Industries Minister, Mr. Gautam Reddy, who has really organized this beautiful conference here. Today being a holiday, normally we wouldn't have taken time out to come here, but I was so excited at hearing about the concept that I thought, let me take some time off and spend some time with you. So I basically deal with the urban sector, urban planning, and with the cities of Andhra Pradesh. We've got 125 of them. Practically 30% of Andhra Pradesh lives in urban areas. There's a lot of inward migration into urban areas. There is a lot of infrastructure being demanded of urban areas, and there's a lot of rethinking to be done with regard to urban areas. We have started off inheriting cities which were largely unplanned. I wouldn't say totally unplanned, because parts of them have come up in a planned fashion, but largely unplanned. You look at Delhi itself. You have one part of Delhi looking like New York, the other part of Delhi an absolute slum. So this is where we have to do a lot of rethinking when we're talking of concept cities. My world has changed considerably in the last couple of years. I've seen a lot of change. I'm forced to think differently. It's because of Corona. It's because of different lifestyles we have to experiment with as a consequence of the fact that we have abused nature to such an extent that disease is staring us in the face. But we have to fight the situation. We can't succumb to it. Yeah, we have Corona, we have to live with it, but live with it differently. So this is where we wanted to call brains like yours to brainstorm on this issue, come up with solutions like the solution our Industries Minister has put forth for discussion today, namely concept cities to be set up all over the state of Andhra Pradesh. We never had these concepts at one time. Walk to work, work from home. These are things which are being talked about quite a lot in the recent past. Socially distanced offices. We have Cushman and Wakefield come up with concepts of, they've designed offices, which is called basically the 6 feet distance rule followed offices. So we have different types of offices. When you talk about plug and play, co-working spaces, even in them, you have to re-engineer offices to see that health becomes a parameter we all have to factor in. Contactless technologies are something which are being spoken about. In fact, there is this BR waste management company in Sharjah which has talked of employees actually moving out around the office without really making contact with most of the things which are placed there. Motion sensors, facial recognitions, automatic lifts, etc. Even a coffee ordered over your smartphone. Everything is contactless. So this is a new concept we've come across. In a way, COVID has gotten us thinking about how we've abused the environment and thinking on how we can restore this to some semblance of normalcy. Why waste time on travel when we can think virtually? We can meet virtually. So we save something there. Why have centralized development when the same job can be done in a decentralized fashion? Adilabad, Anantapur, Chittoor, wherever you are, you can always contribute the same. Zoom and other similar conferencing facility has made this possible. Efficiency, in fact, improves as a consequence of these things. New McKinsey Global Institute research has actually pointed out that if we really go about life this way, we will probably be adding about 1 percentage point to our global, the GDP. What does this mean? It means for a person in Spain, he gets $1,500 extra, a person in US gets $3,500 extra as a consequence of improving your efficiency in this fashion. That's not a small thing. The quality of life will improve if we are able to think smart, think green, and think of less commute and more of work. Commuting takes so much of time. It stresses you out. It does not add to efficiency. It destroys your health. Most of the time you are paddling to work in some form of public transportation or private transportation, stuck in some traffic jam on some busy street, which was really not designed to take the kind of traffic we have today. Mechanization increases some kinds of jobs, but it decreases some kind of jobs. This is where my colleague Satish was actually talking about reskilling people. We need to reskill people. The existing skills are not sufficient. When you're talking about more mechanization, it means that you're displacing people from their jobs. But there is space for everybody if we can reskill them. We can put them onto different sectors, teach them different forms of lifestyles and work, and make use of them. Because human resource, fortunately for this country, is enormous. People in the working group for India are a boon. This is not there in some countries like Japan, where the population is largely extremely old. India, fortunately, has population which is young, which is dynamic, which is entrepreneurial, and really willing to work hard, willing to learn. Virtual shopping has now become a reality. So we have to really forget about those days when we had malls and multiplexes where we were strolling around and making contact with people who are strangers, breathing in the kind of air they're breathing in. Today, virtual shopping has become a reality. So think virtual. Digital services are going to be used enormously. I find a large section of the persons who were invited here today are into digital technologies. Digital services are going to be made use of in an enormous fashion in the days to come, if we haven't already indulged in that to a large extent today. The concept cities on which we're going to have some brainstorming slightly later, initially are going to be set up in Visakhapatnam, Anantapur, and Tirupati. Anantapur, because of proximity to Bangalore, we have to stop thinking about borders. Geographical borders are all man-made. We have to think of borderless thinking, borderless administration. When you are looking at Anantapur, you're looking at Bangalore. Tourism as a destination for Anantapur would have enormous potential. You've got Madanpalli nearby, you've got the Bangalore crowd waiting to get away during weekends. So this is where we have to tap potential even across the border. Tirupati, of course, its natural advantage of being a religious capital. And Visakhapatnam, its natural advantage of being located in the northern part, close to the coast, pristine, beautiful surroundings and locales, educated population, and the fact that they have got every conceivable facility, port, airport, etc., just needs some inputs as far as town planning goes, and that is what we are here to deliberate upon today. When we are talking of concept cities, I had actually chanced upon one recently. I'd gone on some other work to Ahmedabad, so I went and looked up what is called Gift City. Amazing infrastructure. What are we looking at? Are we looking at walk to work or work from home? I think we're looking at a mixture of both. Work from home probably during the peak season of corona or whichever viruses were to attack us in future as a consequence of our abusing nature. And the plug and play co-working spaces, etc., which are the new norm of work. You can share infrastructure. You don't have to create infrastructure. You can work side by side with colleagues who are operating on a different brand of the economy or different sector of the economy. And you can still make use of common facilities like gymming or playgrounds or play areas or eateries or health clubs, etc. The new concept of, co-working spaces, not really new because America has been using it for quite some time, but a little new to our country. This is something we should be thinking about. As I said, it's going to be a combination of work from home and also walk to work to reduce the amount of stress we are putting on urban traffic, to reduce the time of commutation. So these are some of the issues I wanted to place before you. And it's not like we are lecturing you on what has to be done. We are here to actually pick on your experiences, share knowledge, gain knowledge before we actually implement these things so that we would have taken the industry on board and we would not have imposed any projects on you. So this is really a wonderful step taken by our Industries Minister, Mr. Gautam Reddy. And if all of you can contribute productively to this seminar, it will really take Andhra Pradesh faster on its road to development. Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam. So now I would like to invite on the stage Dendaluru MLA Abhay Chaudhary Garni stage pike రావాల్సిందిగా invite చేస్తున్నాను to share a few words about this gathering. Welcome to you, sir.
Hello everyone. Hello everyone. It's been a pleasure and an honor to be here today. And seeing a conference like this, it's been a while because of the pandemic that we hit in of the corona. I was recently reading that generally I used to attend several conferences across the globe, and with the pandemic situation from the last 1 year, I think I saw that there is close to a $2 billion USD revenue loss because there were no conferences like this happening after the corona has started. But taking such an initiative, in the state of Andhra Pradesh, I really thank and congratulate our Honorable Industries Minister, Mr. Gautam Reddy Garu, and also dignitaries on the dais, Jay Lakshmi Garu, all the other dignitaries on the dais here. I have two hats on myself. One is a political hat. As most of you know, I'm a member of Legislative Assembly from Dendaluru constituency. And the second hat is I'm one among you. I'm an entrepreneur myself, been in IT industry for close to 17 years, working in London, US, and all other countries. It's really wonderful to see you all here. I thought, let me take some time out, listen to all during the corona time, listen to all your words, what's your experiences, and how do we take our state forward. Because everybody's ambition here, because we have two dynamic leaders at this point of time. One is our Honorable CM, Y. Jagmohan Reddy Garu, and another one is another younger dynamic leader that we have for industries, and today Mr. Gautam Reddy as well. So I think both young leaders here taking us forward. I think it will bring us a lot of value if you share your opinions, because all our ambition is to keep Andhra Pradesh in the forefront, make it as a gateway of South India for IT. So I think it's wonderful to see you all here, because as our principal secretaries were mentioning, excellent keynotes that they have mentioned earlier, because everywhere we are seeing an opportunity right now. Even the times of COVID, we have seen large digital transformations that are happening across the globe. But recently I was reading few things. Even financial services industries are moving into opening bank accounts just online. Right? I mean, we used to, the financial services industry that used to open an entrepreneur account or an industrial account, which they used to take a month or 2 months or even 6 months. They're even doing it in 10 minutes right now after Corona. The reason being they wanted to just do everything online, do a facial recognition, even for the personal accounts as well. We see the facial recognition coming in, and then they wanted to open account, and you scan your passport, both of them together, account is opened in 5 minutes. I saw that in Switzerland recently in Finma Technology. And also, as Poonam Malakonda has said earlier, agri and technology is a way forward. Agri-tech is growing faster, and there is a lot of white space in that. We have seen, as Madam was mentioning earlier, even though I've seen farmers in our state using drones, using satellite. I mean, I think there are countries where using satellite images to see that if the plants have, is there a weed on the plant, they're using drones to make sure the pests are being done. So I think every space there is a technology, and moving forward, I think we welcome you all here, and it's excellent and great opportunity to see you all, and an excellent conference, and looking forward for the CXO roundtables this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now, I kindly invite to inaugural address our Honorable Minister, Sri Mekapati Gautam Reddy Garu, Honorable Minister, Industries and Commerce, IT Skill Development and Training, Government of Andhra Pradesh.
Good afternoon. Distinguished industry leaders from IT and electronics fraternity, senior bureaucrats from state governments, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. When asked about the objective of this gathering, I simply had to put this forward. We are here to learn, and learn to create benchmarks and not follow benchmarks. A warm welcome to all of you, and we are grateful for you to taking the time to be part of this IT conclave, and especially in spite of this COVID scare that we have had around. Just to take a step backwards, and I'll explain to you how our Honorable CM has looked forward development in a different light altogether. One of the first things the Honorable CM has done is he brought around a convergence of the whole ministries around. Today, right from our investments, infrastructure, industry, IT, commerce, right up to your skilling, it all heads under one ministry. So what used to be in 3 different ministries are today sitting in under one ministry, which basically means the ease of doing business is got that much more easier for all the investors coming to Andhra Pradesh. Through this IT conclave, we aim to deepen our relationships with the IT fraternity, brainstorm on various ideas that can help both the IT sector and the state's march towards a mutually beneficial progress. We also promise to stay engaged with all the leaders here and convert the dialogue into action on the ground. This IT conclave attains even more significance given how the pandemic has compressed timelines for technological adoptions and digital transformation. In the past year, we have seen that technologies which probably would have taken 5 years to be adopted took no more than 5 months. Such a dynamic, changing world will also require a fast responding administration in order to align with the employment and innovation opportunities with the global needs. It is within this context that I hope that today's session will bring together some of the greatest minds in the IT industry and help the government formulate best policies to take the state forward. It is only under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister we see that this change is possible. Since the present government has taken over in May 2019, our belief has been in building a sustainable model, a sustainable society, and taking everyone along the path to progress needed fresh thinking and backing with of data. Our endeavor is to build on the same guidelines as advocated by World Economic Forum, that is the ESG model that has come out, that is environment, social, and governance. We have carefully orchestrated our actions on these guidelines. In order to do the same, we started looking at the fundamental building blocks of a society and benchmark our state with some of the other better performing states within India and also with leading countries globally whom we wanted to emulate. We performed rigorous analysis using data available with the government as well as assimilating feedback from our Honorable Chief Minister's Padyatra that he undertook on 341 days, covering a kilometers of 3,648 kilometers. The seed of the action was then laid. The realization was very stark, and strongly motivated us to form the bedrock of our governance. Just as Mr. Bill Gates had once remarked, humanity's greatest advances are not in the discoveries, but in how these discoveries are adopted to reduce the inequalities, whether through democracy, strong public education, quality healthcare, or broad economic opportunities. Reducing inequality is the highest human achievement. We resolve to ensure social justice in every scheme implemented by our government and created opportunities across the economic and social strata in the society. The state started to refocus on the multiple social indicators such as education, healthcare, agriculture, and availability of skilled manpower. We vowed to improve on several key performing indicators by not only allocating and spending money, but also leveraging technology wherever possible to increase the reach and utilize the funds efficiently. Our resolve to aim at solving the above challenges crystallized into several programs across all these sectors. For example, in our education sector, our education secretary was kind enough to explain what is the progress that they have done. But I'd also like to add over here that what Mahatma Gandhi, our great father of the nation, had once said, education should be so to revolutionize as to answer the wants of the poorest villager. Today, I'm very happy to say, under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister, the empowerment program in education especially, which is at the heart of our Chief Minister, is basically not only we are seeing the result, the fruits of this labor, but I can also tell you that the gross enrollment ratio across all the demographics has improved remarkably. While schemes such as Manabadi, Nadu, Nedu builds the school infrastructure schemes such as Jagananna Vidya Divana, Jagananna Vidya Kanuka takes care of not only school fees, but also stationery and reading materials for the students. Many a times I've been asked questions across the world, across the country. There is there's this paradigm question of saying what's happening in your state, where is the development? I can tell you all, the development that our leader has resolved is to start the movement from the villages. And I am very happy to say that he is reaching the poorest of the poorest, neediest of the neediest. And I can tell you these results that are going to be coming out will actually be seen for the rest of the country to be followed. Schemes such as Jagananna Goru Mudda ensures that these children are fed, while Jagananna Ammavadi encourages mothers to send children to school. In the healthcare, we renewed our strength and strengthened the YSR Arogyashri to ensure that good quality healthcare is available to all citizens who cannot afford the same. Additionally, to ensure financial support to patients who are in recovery post any hospitalization, we launched YSR Arogya Asra. To provide crucial support during the accidents, even in remotest parts of the state, the government also launched 1,088 new ambulances in order to reduce the emergency response into time in less than 15 minutes. Additionally, the government is establishing 16 new medical colleges to ensure enough high-quality doctors are available to serve the people of the state. Insurance schemes by the government have drastically revamped and restructured through the YSR Bima. And in terms of discussing my own ministry, this government, in the hardest of the hardest times during the COVID, we reached out to the MSME sector, which is the backbone of the industry. Through YSR Navodayam for MSMEs, we helped them to restructure their loans. And not only restructure their loans, we had paid out the last 6 years of dues that was due to this MSME sector, totaling about 1,100 crores. Jagananna Thodu is another scheme that helped the small-scale traders who are struggling with high interest rate, and YSR Sunna Vadi Pathakam helped provide zero-interest loans for women in self-help groups. Additionally, in agriculture and allied sectors, while agriculture sector employs majority of the people in the state of Andhra Pradesh, the sector needs tremendous support to ensure that the basis financial sustenance is provided to these families. While the YSR Raitu Bharosa is to ensure support for investment during the sowing season, the government is also setting up 10 gigawatt of solar power to ensure daytime power to the farmers. A YSR Raitu Bharosa Kendra has been established in every village secretariat to cater to all the needs of the farmers from seed to sale. We are also establishing 147 YSR Agri Testing Labs at the constituency level, and 13 labs at the district level to increase the agriculture production. In addition to the investment support in power, the government is also providing YSR-free crop insurance. You all are aware what our welfare schemes have reached out to be. The government has extended almost close to about 5.65 crores beneficiaries with an assistance of 77,731 crores in the last financial year. How is the state leveraging technologies in such schemes, in the state schemes? I can just explain to you that while the state has launched multiple schemes to benefit the citizens directly, it is also trying to harness technology to come up with innovations to deliver service. One of these, we are seeing that the IT industry is rapidly changing the world across in every aspect of life. While we see the service sector changing rapidly with the help of the e-commerce firms, we are also seeing governments across the globe adopting technologies. And I can tell you those governments which are adopting technologies or which are going to look forward into the technologies are those governments which are going to better the development of the governance sector. Multiple aspects of governance, from service delivery to welfare schemes and planning and executing capital projects to data mining for identifying trends in the growth hubs across the states, are seeing deployment of the latest technologies. Some of the digital initiatives to fight the COVID-19 that had taken place was home quarantine monitoring dashboard, CDAC SMS gateway for monitoring foreign returnees, availability of mandal level video conferencing system. I mean, apart from this, what are we doing here in the state of Andhra Pradesh in creating the infrastructure, the IT infrastructure? The state of Andhra Pradesh has been extremely proactive in attracting investments in this, especially in the IT infrastructure. My department is now actively engaged with multiple marquee IT companies for new projects in the state, as well as expansion of the existing operations. One of the such subject which is being forward and which is going to be discussed in one of the roundtables is the concept cities. Our Honorable Chief Minister believes that to develop the next level of living, the futuristic livings, he wanted us to take up 3 centers, minimum about 2,000 odd acres across the state, and then develop it into a concept cities. And today, I think one of the subjects that we'll be discussing and probably looking out for answers from the diaspora is that, how can we make this concept city into a reality? The IT concept city is purposed to have SEZ and non-SEZ areas, connectivity to highways and airports, the plug-and-play units, the working spaces, the serene atmosphere, and also what we have also done is through the state fiber net, we are going to be creating the last mile connectivity. We will be providing broadband to every nook and corner of the state. The Honorable CM envisages internet connectivity to all the villages by 2024. We are also looking at integrated technology parks. To create the best working environment in a post-COVID-19 world, the government is proposing to establish an integrated technology park consisting of high-end skills university, incubation centers, center of excellence, labs, co-working spaces. The other one where we are looking at a digital transformation is happening at the Gram Panchayat levels. We are working on creating the digital infrastructure up to the Gram Panchayat level, which includes high-speed internet connections to all the villages and establishing digital broadband, creating digital libraries with video conferencing facilities to all the village wards and secretaries. Additionally, these spaces will provide 5 to 6 workstations in every Gram Panchayat, totaling about 90,000 workstations to be provided in the next 2 to 3 years. The importance of this IT conclave, I cannot stress again. World over, the private industry works very closely with the government to ensure that the policies and regulations keep track with the demand of the industry. When such collaboration happens, the youth of the state or the country benefit tremendously. Today's IT conclave is an effort to bring the doyens of the IT industry to have deliberations with the government on various topics pertaining to the fields of the IT. The conclave will discuss various topics such as concept cities, skilling, IT and emerging technologies, startups, work from anywhere, and electronics manufacture. Each of the CXO roundtables will feature one of these topics and will aim to understand perspective from the industry leaders and multiple leaders from the IT industries, as well as senior bureaucrats who are part of the panels. All the discussions will be distilled, and the lessons learned will become part of the thought process during the future policy making. Before I conclude, I would like to also point out to you while we dwell into the discussion of how the industry and the government can come together, it is my sincere request to all of you to provide your sincere opinion on the challenges that lay ahead for the state and the way which we can overcome the same. We also wish to partner with the IT leaders present here in bringing investments, creating jobs, deploying technology to solve the current issues, and help drive the state towards a prosperous future. And before I conclude once again, I would like to thank my sincere appreciation to the Department of IT, led by our Secretary, Srimati Sri Jayalakshmi Garu, and Mr. Nandakishore, and our advisors, Srinath and Vidyasagar, and my dear YPOs, my special thanks to Sridhar Ramarao, Krishna, and Sri Maineni. Wish you all the best and a sincere success in the coming future. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. And Mani CX4 roundtable gathering ki which is now MLA Chapireddy Bhaskar Reddy gariki we welcome to you, sir. So to share a few words about this gathering, MLA Chapireddy Bhaskar Reddy garu, Chandragiri, Tirupati rural MLA, and also with Government of Andhra Pradesh, TTD ex-member. Welcome to you, sir. Suda Chairman and Government Whip. Oh, yes, new developments in Tirupati, seriously, sir. Thank you so much, and please share a few words.
వేదిక పైన పెద్దలకు వేదిక ముందున్న పెద్దలకు హృదయపూర్వకంగా నమస్కరిస్తున్నా. యాక్చువల్గా నేను చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి కూడా ఇక్కడ మన మంత్రివర్యులు గౌతమన్ వాళ్ళ ఫాదర్తో చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి చాలా దశాబ్దాలుగా కలిసి ఉన్నవాడిని. అన్న ప్రోగ్రాం పెడుతుంటే జస్ట్ పార్టిసిపేట్ చేద్దామని వస్తే వేదికపైకి ఆహ్వానించారు. ఒక మంచి నాయకుడి రాష్ట్రానికి దిక్సూచిగా నడిపిస్తున్నారు. అన్ని రంగాలు ఈ రాష్ట్రాన్ని అభివృద్ధి వైపు తీసుకెళ్లడంలో ఈ రాష్ట్ర ముఖ్యమంత్రి ఎలా పనిచేస్తున్నాడో మీరే ప్రత్యక్ష సాక్షులు. ఏ రంగమైనా కూడా కూలంకషంగా అర్థం చేసుకొని కావాల్సినటువంటి సపోర్ట్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ది వే సపోర్ట్ చేస్తూ ఈ రాష్ట్రాన్ని అభివృద్ధి వైపు నడిపించడంలో ప్రతి నిమిషం కూడా